So you're saying there's a chance. What's the latest with Kayden Dixon-Wyatt and the USC Trojans as recruiting day is just around the corner? Hey, what's up, Trojan family? Welcome to the USC LAFB show. Here on the LAFB Network, I'm your host, Ryan Dyer, talking all things recruiting today. The latest in the recruitment of elite four-star wide receiver Kayden Dixon-Wyatt out of Mater Dei. Their season just wrapped up in a heartbreaking loss to Centennial in the CIF playoffs by 1 point, I believe 28-27 just last Friday. Now, there's a couple updates on this. We talked just last week that he's obviously committed to Ohio State with his teammate, Chris Henry Jr., and there's always these kind of rumors swirling that Oregon's lurking for both, USC's been lurking for both, and the conversations have continued. On Friday, he spoke with Adam Gorney of Rivals, and there was a big update on that. And then just today, Steve Wilfong of Rivals provided another update that didn't refute that, but definitely still kept the door open. So let's quickly look into what this is looking like. And it feels like this recruitment is going to come down to signing day. I don't know if there'll be a flip announcements prior to them. It could be on signing day, him announcing either Ohio State or USC. So on Friday at Centennial, after the game, spoke with Adam Gorney. And when asked if his recruitment was basically done, he responded, quote, "I feel that." It's a pretty lukewarm answer, but, it felt pretty, pretty resolute, I guess, in saying that, yeah, I'm done with my recruitment. We're going to Ohio State. But it wasn't a full shut door like, yep, I'm not taking anyone. My recruitment shut down. I'll be signing at Ohio State. Didn't say that. However, he went on to say, it's looking like Ohio State when asked what the days look like before signing day. Again, kind of, reported as this was like putting it into the speculation, but it's kind of leaving a lot there. It's looking like Ohio State. Get to go into that next chapter, me and my boy, Chris Henry Jr., get to compete at the next level and really show the world what we're about. So that was kind of the thought of, okay, this thing is basically done. He's going to Ohio State. Gorney went on to say that as we've been talking about, USC has been, pursuing and pushing and continuing to work that flip. But based on this report, he says that a source earlier in the day said it was made clear to Dixon-Wyatt and those close to him that USC couldn't match the Ohio State's NIL offer, but he'd still be more than welcome in the class. He had a conversation with Lincoln Riley, his three teammates that are committed to USC, Mark Bowman, Tamahuni Tupui, and Sean Scott, have been pushing for him to flip to join him. Obviously, as alluded to earlier, he's currently committed with his teammate in the wide receiver room, Chris Henry Jr., to Ohio State. So either way, he will be playing with teammates, and it feels like it's still a heavy lean Ohio State. Obviously, based on their support, it would indicate a 100% lean, but what I'm going to get to is USC is still kind of in the running as this thing comes down to the finish line, but it's definitely a two-horse race at this sense. I think Oregon is kind of going all in on trying to flip Chris Henry Jr., which we'll see what that looks like. I won't get into that, but that'll be interesting. Yeah, he went on to say, it was a bunch of teammates. It was most of my teammates. They were pushing for me. I got to talk to the head coach, which is Lincoln Riley. I got on the phone with him and had a good conversation, but my friends do what they do. At the end of the day, Ohio State. So this was on Friday, and he mentioned Coach Hartline, one of the best wide receiver coaches ever at the position. So being under him, being able to compete at the highest level, number one team in the country, is something special for me. So yeah, that kind of felt like it. And I think the NIL offer being short, in this day and age, I don't think all these kids are chasing the dollars. So not at all saying that KDW is doing that, but I don't know how shortcoming that was. And for those wondering, I thought USC had their NIL intact and all this. I mean, remember, they've got a 35-person class. So there is only so much to go around. And the fact that they are even pushing for not just one more player, but one more elite player that is going to command well over probably six figures. We're talking pretty big NIL package. I mean, he is, regardless of rank by rivals, which, he's in that obviously an elite tier, but he's in that like top 20 tier of receivers. I think he's viewed by college programs as higher than that ranking. So that was Friday. Kind of felt like the end of it. Obviously, USC goes on Saturday, plays against Oregon. We know how that all went. Talked about that many times. Me and Tim are going to talk more about the future of the program later this evening. So make sure to tune in for that. But I'll leave it for that session and that conversation. But then this morning, the old Steve Wilfong gets on the horn or gets on the keyboard to talk about Kayden Dixon-Wyatt, and he refers to that last report, told our colleague Adam Gorney that his recruitment was done over the weekend and he was set with Ohio State, referring to what I just read to you. He goes on, I believe the Buckeyes are strong here based on how Dixon-Wyatt has been communicating with the Buckeyes staff. However, I do believe USC has been given reason to believe from Dixon-Wyatt's camp they're in the picture and could sign with the local program next week. So we'll continue to monitor. So a little more speculation there, but he obviously knows a lot in league circles, or not league circles, that's more referring to like the NFL, but knows a lot within the recruiting circles, within the programs, within the camp of Kayden Dixon-Wyatt. And so kind of like what I was alluding to, like his answers to Gorney while being reported as shutting down, to me, I read those and I'm like, those aren't like real definitive words. Like if you were for sure locked in and be like, nope, recruiting's done, locked in, I'm signing with Ohio State in 2 weeks. You wouldn't say it's looking like Ohio State. That leaves things really wide open to me. Like if you try to do that with your wife or husband, try to use that conversation with your wife or husband. You going out with the boys? It's looking like we'll be home around, midnight or 3 a.m. That's not going to go over well. That's not a conversation you want to have. You got to tell your wife, I will be home at 11:30. Done. Right? I'm locked in at 11:30. That's when I'll be home. Not, it's looking like after midnight. So that to me, that was language that left it pretty wide open. So if the NIL package deal, even if it's short and under what Ohio State is offering, remember, USC beat out Ohio State for the likes of Luke Wafel. He came to visit USC. It looked like it was going to be a done thing. Ohio State upped their offer, and then USC countered it within a 24 hours, and they were able to win over Luke Wafel's commitment. Part of that because of the aggression of Chad Bowden, his staff, and the NIL package. In this scenario, it seems like they are being very honest and forthright. Like, we are going to be under what they offer. However, you're from here. You know all that USC has to offer. You all know all that LA has to offer. We can make that up in years to come. Just because the offer right now might be less, you'll make that up. Plus, you may be wide receiver 2 next year based on who we're losing. I mean, I'm not saying he will be, but that could be some of the conversation. When you look at losing Mekhi Lemon, potentially Jacoby Lame, potentially others. I mean, Tanook Hines, as of right now, is probably wide receiver 1 next year as a true sophomore. KDW and Boobie Feaster could be wide receiver 2 and 3 as true freshmen. Obviously, I think USC will look in the transfer portal for some established hands out there. We'll get to that in the offseason. But this thing's not over yet. I think this thing's going to get interesting down the stretch, and we are, just over a week away. What are we? Are we exactly 2 weeks? I think we're exactly 2 weeks or so. Monday or Tuesday, December 3rd or 4th. I always forget the date off the top of my head. We're coming up close, guys, so we'll have a lot of information for you in regards to the 2026 class over these next kind of 10 days or so. So make sure to be locked in right here with the USC LAFB YouTube channel. Hit that like and subscribe if you have not already. Hit those bell notifications, what everyone says, just so you get updated every time I drop a video. Because I'm going to be doing, we do daily videos anyway. I'm going to be doing daily recruiting videos probably every day from here on out with any movement updates or whatever. Even if they don't get KDW, if they can just get all 35 of these guys to the finish line, I mean, what a recruiting cycle this will have been for the USC Trojans. So keep it right here. Thank you as always for making this a part of your day, and family, as always, fight on. Hey, Trojan family, thank you so much for hanging out and watching the USC LAFB show. Before you go, let me tell you quickly about our friends over at Sleeper. Go right now, download the Sleeper app. It's the #1 sports app, not just for season-long fantasy, but they've got live pickers, they've got live stat updates, they've got a chat that you can chat with other users, plus the daily pick'em, which is a blast, or daily fantasy, whatever you want to call it. You go and pick 2 to 8 players across any sports. If you're talking USC, go choose Jade Mayava in his next matchup. Pick more or less passing yards, more or less touchdowns. You stack those, and you can win real money. When you go to make your first deposit, make sure you use our promo code USCLAFB. You're going to get a match deposit up to $100. Put in $100, you get $100 free to play with from Sleeper. Put in 10, they'll match you that $10. So now you're sitting at 20 to play with. But also right now, for any new users, no deposit required. You get $20 free entry. You can stack both. You can get the $20 for free. Go make a deposit. Use USC LAFB. And now you've got a bunch of free money to play with right there on the Sleeper app. Check it out, Trojan family. And when you do, tell them the guys at the USC LAFB sent you.